26th, February, we have Dakota Ditcheva versus Weili Zhang for the flyweight UFC championship. Insane.
Even her against Valentina, I would love to see. I think that would be a great striking match as well. And I think it'd be interesting because like she beat Taila Santos, who arguably could have beat Valentina without a headbutt.
That wasn't a fan. That wasn't a troll. That was a UFC veteran, Gillian Robertson, dropping the most savage fucking warning to Valentina Shevchenko we've ever heard. Forget respectful fight talk. This was pure violence in a sentence. And she's talking about Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated golden girl of the PFL, the fighter who just dismantled Taila Santos and beat Sumiko Inaba. So let's break it down. Did Gillian Robertson just predict the end of Valentina Shevchenko's reign in under 10 seconds? Or is this pure delusion? Robertson didn't just say Dakota would win. She said she would kill Valentina in 10 seconds. That's not analysis. That's a FKING execution order. And Dana White? You better be listening because if PFL's golden girl crosses over to the UFC, this is the fight that will blow the roof off women's MMA.
I'll just beat your ass in round 2, so shut up.
Let's be real, Dakota isn't just hype. She's unbeaten. A $1 million tournament winner, and her knockout over Taila Santos at the PFL World Championships wasn't just another W, it was a fucking statement. She dropped Santos with leg kicks, elbows, knees, and a body shot that ended it at 4:41 of round 2. Then, as if the violence wasn't enough, she grabbed the mic and torched Santos with the line of the year, "A model just beat your ass, so shut up." That's how you blend violence with marketing. That's why the MMA world is obsessed. But hold up, Valentina Shevchenko isn't some random name. She's the Bullet, former UFC flyweight queen, a striker so technical she's dismantled legends. Taila Santos barely scraped past her in 2022, and that was with Valentina fighting injured. So for Gillian Robertson to say Dakota ends her in 10 seconds, that's not just bold, that's fucking disrespectful. Dana White has been chasing women's MMA megastars since Ronda Rousey. Amanda Nunes retired. Valentina is near the end. Kayla Harrison's UFC debut is still fresh. And here's Dakota, a young, undefeated killer, with supermodel looks. And now Gillian Robertson throwing gasoline on the fire by saying she'll butcher Valentina. You think Dana doesn't hear that? You think he's not thinking dollar signs already? This isn't just about a fight. It's about UFC versus PFL. Old guard versus new blood. Valentina versus Dakota. Is the passing of the torch or the burning of the torch entirely? And if Gillian Robertson is right, Dakota won't just beat Valentina. She'll erase her legacy in seconds. Of course, fans are split. Some are calling Robertson's comments the most savage truth bomb in women's MMA history. Others say it's pure trash talk that Valentina would pick Dakota apart like she's done to so many others. But one thing's clear, Dakota's name is now living rent-free in the UFC's top tier. And she didn't even have to sign the contract yet. So here's the $1 million question. Do you believe Gillian Robertson? Will Dakota Ditcheva really kill Valentina in 10 seconds? Or will Valentina remind the world why she's called the Bullet? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget hit subscribe. Because if this fight happens, it might just be the most violent passing of the torch women's MMA has ever seen.
Not in the UFC yet, but look at Dakota Ditcheva. She is a scary striker, and she's an amazing athlete, right? But her mom was Muay Thai world champion, so she came up in this sport and has been doing it her whole entire life.
When UFC fans think of the most dangerous women in MMA, names like Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, or Zhang Weili might come to mind, but Juliana Killer Miller just threw a grenade into the conversation, calling Dakota effing Ditcheva the scariest problem in the sport right now. And after you see why you might agree or you might think she's out of her mind.
Not in the UFC yet, but look at Dakota Ditcheva. She is a scary striker, and she's an amazing athlete, right? But her mom was Muay Thai world champion, so...
Miller didn't just throw out some empty hype. She broke it down Dakota's stance. Completely unorthodox. Hypnotic. Like she's moving in slow motion until she explodes. Opponents think they're safe, then bam, head kick straight right, or a spinning back fist straight to your jaw.
sprinkle them by TKO or KO, I will tell you the confidence that she's going to have now getting up is going to be unbelievable. Now she's going to and there it is.
Beautiful knee from the plum.
And Ditcheva beckons Jenna Bishop back to her feet and goes immediately on the attack. Oh,
Bishop in trouble.
And that does it. First round finish, and Dakota Ditcheva silences.
Miller compared her movement to a trap, lulling you into thinking she's passive, then changing speeds in the blink of an eye. And it's not just striking, her takedown defense, rock solid. Juliana also pointed out something most people miss: Dakota's ground game. She's not known as a grappler, but when you put her on her back, she's got a slick butterfly guard that creates space instantly. Within seconds, she's back on her feet and the nightmare continues. And here's where things get really controversial. Dakota's still undefeated, but she's not in the UFC yet, and Miller's comments just added fuel to the fire for fans begging Dana White to sign her. But here's the problem: if Dakota comes in and murders the UFC's top flyweights, what does that say about Alexa Grasso, about Valentina Shevchenko, about the entire division? Juliana wasn't praising her as a fan. She was warning the division Dakota is a scary problem, means she's the kind of fighter who will end your night in one mistake. That's not hype. That's a direct threat to every woman with a belt. If Dakota does make the UFC jump, the matchups write themselves: Alexa, Valentina, even Erin Blanchfield. The UFC women's flyweight division has been waiting for a shakeup, and Juliana Miller may have just given Dana the perfect excuse to pull the trigger. So what do you think? Is Juliana Miller right? Is Dakota Ditcheva the scariest problem in MMA today? Or is this just hype until she proves it inside the UFC octagon? Because if Miller's right, every queen in the UFC is about to get dethroned.
I feel right now, looking at the two people who are fighting for their belt, you could beat them right now. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, I think I could. Yeah, I definitely think I'd be up there.
Your skill set matches up perfectly with theirs. It's not like they're wrestlers or anything like that.
No, and I think we'll see that when I win this season now, and say I beat someone like Liz Carmouche and Taila Santos. As soon as I've beat them, I think, what else can people expect other than greatness for the rest of the year?
PFL star Dakota Ditcheva isn't just chasing belts anymore. She's hunting UFC royalty. And after destroying Bellator standout Sumiko Inaba, she's looking straight at Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko, and she's saying, "I'm coming for your crown." Dakota Ditcheva, 27 years old, 15-0, only one fight has gone the distance. She's been running through opponents like a buzzsaw in PFL Europe and the global stage. This year, she's chasing the $1 million PFL championship, but her eyes are locked on something bigger: the UFC flyweight title. Her latest victim, Bellator veteran Sumiko Inaba, finished in devastating fashion. No hesitation. No mercy. In a recent interview, Dakota didn't flinch when asked about UFC champions Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. "I could have the title if I went there. Yeah, I think I could beat Grasso and Shevchenko." That's not just confidence, that's a call-out. She's not asking for an invite, she's telling the UFC she's ready to walk in and take over Dakota. Says the critics don't get it. They claim she hasn't fought top-tier names, but when her opponents go against others, they have close fights against her, they get finished early. She makes them look like they don't belong in the cage. With her length, unorthodox striking, and finishing instinct, she believes she can not only hang with UFC champions, she can dominate them. But let's be real, Alexa Grasso shocked the world by submitting Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina, she's one of the most dominant champions in MMA history. Taking out either woman isn't just another fight. It's climbing Mount Everest with no rope. Dakota doesn't care. She says she's got the tools, the confidence, and the mindset to make it happen. First, Dakota has to finish the job in PFL. That means going through names like Liz Carmouche, a former UFC title challenger, and Taila Santos, the woman who nearly beat Shevchenko. If she clears that path, the UFC will have no choice but to take notice. So here's the million-dollar question. Is Dakota Ditcheva the next queen of the flyweights? Or is this just another hype train about to hit the UFC wall? One thing's for sure after her latest win, and that fucking bomb she dropped, the fight world is listening.
Yeah, I think.
And then who wins? Dakota versus Valentina.
You really make me say that. She's my favorite fighter, but come on.
Favorite fighter, number one.
Yeah, she is. She's always been my favorite fighter, Valentina.
Wow.
Yeah.
All time.
Yeah, all time.
Have you ever told
I
her
just
this?
think like she's just like an MMA athlete. Like,
yeah.
What can she not do? Like, she can grapple. If she needs to win by grappling, she can do it. If she needs to strike, she can do it. Like, I mean, so many people thought she was going to get a belt taken off her by the French girl, Manon
Fiorot.
Oh, you said it quite well. Yeah, people wrote her off with that, and look what she did. She always finds a way to win. I think she's very, very clever.
Dakota FKING Ditcheva, and she just called out the queen of violence herself, Valentina Shevchenko. Let's be real. Everyone thought Dakota Ditcheva would jump ship to the UFC undefeated, violent, marketable British, a perfect Dana White signing. But what did she do instead? She re-signed with the PFL while throwing shade at the UFC by keeping her options wide open.
In the post-fight interview, you announced that you had re-signed with the PFL. Congratulations. Are you happy with how everything turned out?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I am happy now in the end. It took a while. I mean, I fought last November, so it took a while for us to come to, you know, something that was right for the both of us. But I'm happy now, you know, I just secured my future for me and my family.
And now she's gunning for the fight most UFC women won't even whisper about, Valentina Shevchenko, one of the most feared women in MMA history. This isn't just a crossover fight. This would be the first real PFL versus UFC women's super fight. But here's the truth. The UFC won't say out loud, Dakota is a threat, and not just to Valentina, to their entire flyweight division. Think about it, a young, undefeated blonde striker with serious KO power, and she's not under UFC control.
What were you going to say? I was going to say Bellator has had Hawaii events.
Bellator could put on a fucking fight in the parking lot. Dude, I can't even believe you just said that. PFL could, you know PFL was here on Friday. Did anybody know that? You're the media guys. I didn't know till fucking Friday. They were selling tickets, buy two, get two free. I'm not busting on them. That's a fucking fact. They put out a memo, buy two, get two free. You're having a bad fucking week if those are the memos you're putting out.
Hey, Dana.
There were more people in my fucking green room tonight than there were at the fight.
Finally,
wouldn't just be about belts, it would be about promotional pride. And that's why the UFC is staying silent. Let's talk about Valentina. She's a legend. No debate, but she's not untouchable anymore. Alexa Grasso exposed cracks. And Dakota? She's younger, hungrier, and she's not afraid to talk about it. Dakota's message is loud and clear. If Valentina's still on top when it happens, I'm in. That's a challenge, a warning, a threat, and maybe even a prophecy. Let's be honest, the UFC didn't want to lose Kayla Harrison. Now they're watching Dakota become the next breakout star, and she's doing it without them. If Dakota versus Valentina actually happens and the UFC loses on their own turf, it's game over for the narrative that UFC is the only elite league, and deep down, Dana knows it. Social media's been on fire since Dakota said the words UFC champ versus PFL champ. Some fans say she hasn't earned it. Others say Valentina would destroy her. But the real ones, they know this is exactly the kind of fight women's MMA needs. Dakota ain't ready. Valentina ends her in 2 rounds. This girl might be the future. Dana missed out big UFC, ducked another star. And with Dakota turning 27 today, she's entering her prime. The UFC can't ignore her much longer. Dakota Ditcheva is ready. Valentina Shevchenko